Okay, just waiting for people to join. Uh, yeah. Give me 1 minute here. Okay. Nyla the Kitten. Hello, welcome to CSX 8817 Productions Live. How's everyone doing tonight? So, just so everyone knows, I'm doing good. Just chilling. So just so everyone knows, I haven't been live in like forever. Last time I went live was 2019, 2018. You know, it's been a long time. How in this channel, I mean, I'm almost at 500 subscribers. I mean, I came a long way from doing school buses to rail fanning, and now rail fanning slash transit fanning. I mean, now I'm doing transit, SEPTA, you know. Emmanuel Pinero, how you doing? Welcome to CSX 8817 Productions Live. So let me get it underway with the stream. This stream's basically going to be about like a Q&A. Just ask me questions, I answer them, you know, that kind of stuff. And you just talk about some stuff going on. Now, for my channel in 2024, I might continue with the transit fanning and probably come back to rail fanning. I mean, I haven't been rail fanning for a while because due to the lack of trains have not been passing by on the CSX Trenton subdivision and Philadelphia subdivision. It's been dead because of PSR. I mean, you'd be lucky you get one train a day, and hey, it's all you get. It's just one train. Mostly all you get is just SEPTA going back and forth. No freight. I saw your school bus video. I love Bluebird All American. And that's good. I mean, Bluebird All makes good buses, you know. I love All Americans myself. I've been riding them in the past 16 years of schooling when I went to school, you know. They were good buses. There's some of them still around. Now is mostly the newer ones, how they call it, the T3, D3, you know. They look good. I mean, I like the looks of them, but it's not the same as the A3s. And the newer buses, the Visions. I've ridden one last year I've ridden one of them last year, and I didn't like how the seats are in newer ones. Seats are like cramped. They're like no leg space at all. You're even for a tall person, your legs are like right against the seat, like smacked up against it like this. The seat space is like that cramped. I'm like, oh boy. I mean, in a CE and a CEs and C2s would not be like that. But yeah, I don't do school. I still have the school bus videos on my channel. I just don't do them no more because, you know, I'm now out of school and there's hardly any buses that pass my area. There's only one bus, and that's a Philly Trans bus, 2020 CE. I mean, I've ridden it. I've ridden it once, and it's a good bus. But yeah, also I've been riding for SEPTA now. I've been riding the new Excelsiors. Guys, let me tell you, me personally, I love the Excelsiors. I mean, yeah, I like diesels too, the D40LFs. There's only 8 of them left, and they're from Kyle Hill. Kyle Hill's been running them all over the place on the 40, the 43, 38, 15. Speaking of the 15 now, it's mostly second gens. And sometimes you get a restyle third gen here and there, Excelsior here and there. But it's mostly 99% of it's the second gens. Yeah. I mean, my comments on 917, that was the last, that was the very last Bluebird All American I rode, 917. It's a good bus. It's just loud. It just has a loud Cat Steve 7, and especially with the engine fan that just stays on and on. I mean, it's a good bus, but it's just loud. Like, you couldn't even hear yourself talk. You gotta like shout to like actually talk to somebody on that bus. But it was a good bus. I mean, it got me through the summer. I mean, my original bus was 542, which was an '09, a 2010 Vision, and no, not 542. What am I saying? 541. That bus was a piece of junk. I mean, on the first day, I could see it was already junk. The lift would not work. Radio had the CB radio has no signal whatsoever. You couldn't even contact with the garage at all. Uh, and then, despite that, on the third day or second week of that bus, the third week of that bus, it's just went to crap. Just took a crap, and I'm like, well, I ain't surprised. I rode in a lot of buses that just broke down out of the blue, and that was how I had 917. Now, there was days I had my favorite my favorite school bus, which was an All American 930. As you see, I did some audio of it. I tried to do an audio sound, but it just blacked out. But still, I got the sounding of it, and it was just like 917. I mean, it has the engine fan. It always had the engine fan. Let's see. Caleb Griggs, favorite XDE40 series, like the BA, BAE Birds 35, 35, 3601, or L9. Now, I'm just getting started with the BAE series with the XDE40s. I mean, I have no favorite yet, but I like all of them right now. I mean, they're fast, they're brand new. I mean, you gotta love that brand new bus smell every now and then. I mean, it's just it's just bizarre. They're fast like rockets. I mean, the sound of them is just awesome. I have 3 videos up already with them. My last one was 3597, which was hauling ass. I mean, that bus is just fast in it. Oh, you felt the whole bus like this is my phone here. You felt the whole bus turning on one side like this or turning on that side. I'm like, God damn, this fucking bus was fast. Excuse me for my language for some of you. But yeah, I mean, it was fast. They're fast as hell. You guys, for some of you guys have not ridden them, I suggest you to try them out, right? Just try them out, whatever route you see them on. They are really good buses, like top notch buses. And especially with the feature, with the zero emission feature, where you're sitting at a red light and the bus just shuts off until you start hitting that gas pedal. Everything just comes back on. That is a really cool feature right there. But my favorite from the L9 series is 3277. 3277 is a Frankfurt district bus. I mean, I've ridden it many times on the 88. Now it's mostly seen on the R nowadays. It's mostly on the R. But the bus just gets around. It's a good bus. It's not too fast, not too slow. It's just a regular Excelsior, just your typical Excelsior. Nothing else I could say about it, but you know, it's been running. It's been out there. I've been trying to get it, but just never had. Every time I would try to get it, it's either not running or done for the day. Lord Nine Riselic 66. I hope that I pronounced that right. What's up, buddy? It's been a while since I've seen you on popping up around on YouTube. Just like 8118 was the best. Yeah, 8118 is definitely the best. I was disappointed to see that go. I mean, I was hoping it would last longer, but ever since they uh ever since they took the wrap off, the Monco wrap, my God, that bus, the paint was fading on that bus, and on its last final days of 8118 being in service, it's been breaking down so much to the point where it just had to go. I mean, it showed its age very well. I mean, but it was still a good bus. Really, still was a good bus. It was a beast. Oh, all right, I know. Great to know. My favorite is 3268 for some reason. It's the exhaust pipe on it. I don't know what the history was behind that exhaust pipe, but it looks cool. Yeah, I've seen videos of 3268 with that exhaust pipe, and it kind of reminded me of the MTA Excelsiors with their pipe, with the way how their exhaust pipes look. I mean, it kind of looked odd compared to the rest of them, the Excelsiors, but the exhaust pipe though, I mean you would think that it would sound like a diesel or something like that, but the exhaust pipe on 3268 is interesting. I mean, I even seen it in person once when I went down to Victory, and yeah, I mean the bus sounds different from the others with the exhaust pipe. She was both our babies. Yeah, Really was. Even my favorite 8000's gone. 8093. That was a good bus too, but like 8118, it was breaking down. And also, I do want to announce to you guys the Christmas buses that we have going on in Sefton now. It's becoming to be that month again with the Christmas buses. This year's Christmas buses is the same as last year's, all 8000s. If I can remember, Frankfurt has 8112. 8112 was hell of a good bus. Fast. They have a really good bus this year. Right now, I've been asking about 8112 at Frankfurt to the my fellow bus driver on the 88 that I know. He sees it he sees it every day or every time when he starts his run. And you know, he says that 8112 was last seen in the shop. I don't know. Now, it still has the Mako wrap. However, I don't know if they're going to take that off or just keep it on with the Christmas decor on it. But yeah, and also 8109 is at Comley. I don't know where at Comley it is, but I heard it was somewhere all the way in the back of Comley. I couldn't. I went to Comley yesterday. I passed by it. I couldn't see it because with so many buses in the yard. But I don't know. I'll check again to see if it's there. I know it's there. It's probably just in the shop or it's still in the yard sitting there. But that's Comley's Christmas bus. Allegheny has either 8053 or 8051. That's going to be their Christmas bus. Midville has 8020, which was one of the last 8000s that Southern ran. And 8020 was seen in Midville. If you just go on YouTube, and you'll see a video from Neoplane Dude of 8020 on the H. And that was something rare. I wish I was out that day to get that bus, but I was busy that day. I have heard about it though. I miss 8000 and 5718. Yeah, 8000 was the demo. Of the 8000s. 5718 was a good bus. I seen that bus a couple times on the 26. It's one of the buses with the Nabby pipe, but it was the only 2004 model with the Nabby pipe. None of the other 2004s had Nabby pipes done. Victory has 8051. Okay, yeah, so I heard Allegheny has an 8050s bus too. I'm pretty sure that's probably 8053. I rode bus 3268 on the 126 today. That's good. Have you hear of AN 460? The Neoplane AN 460s? Yes, I have. And the SEPTA had them good. It was 7100s, 7200s. They were good buses. They were just slow. When they were showing their age back in 2015, they were slowing down. A lot of them were breaking down a lot. I've ridden a lot of them back in 2011, 2012, 2013. And my favorite one was 7126. That was the one I rode frequently and mostly on the 14. That was a good bus. Even the Nabbies were good too. But a lot of drivers said to me that the Nabbies weren't really as good buses as much. I mean, the reason why was because when they were brand new, they already had problems right out of the decade with the braking, how bad the braking is. If you step your foot on the brake, you got to really stepped their foot on the hard on the brake, and I don't know if they had a retarder, but you're like going like this to make that bus fully stop, and it was so horrible. So what we had to do was recall them. They fixed the problem, and the braking still sucked on them. And the 5317 was one of them too. But 5317, that's one of the buses that stayed until they sponsored they advertised the key cards. 5328 was another one. I don't know where those buses are now. Probably scrap or don't exist. Now the one that does exist is 5126. A couple months ago, I saw that bus from on a SEPTA group on my SEPTA group, and people were saying that that bus was for sale on eBay. I don't know if that bus ever got sold or not. But yeah, like I was saying, but the Nabbies, they had so much problems. Even the wheelchair lift, the lift on them were like always would get stuck, and you would have to like pull it like this to get it unstuck. But yeah, during their time, a lot of people. You have some people out there that liked them, some people hated them. You know, it is what it is. I mean, at least at least they had good heating in the winter time, and they were good in the winter time. 5337 was my favorite Nabby. They saved a Nabby for a while, then they got rid of it. What was the number? I would like to know about that one. Maybe I have heard of it. I don't know. I would never forgive Scepter for retiring that. Yeah. At least they kept it till 2017, but they all got replaced by the 8600s, the Novas. Same with the neoplanes. I missed the 2002 New Flyers. Yeah, I do too. I mean, 5520 was my favorite. We all do, bro. We all do, but they had to go. Yep, they all do. Legal, the typical age for a bus in SEPTA or any bus from any transit company is 17 years of age. Once it reaches that age, it's done. I mean, look at our 8000s. They're 18 years of age, most of them. 18 years old, and 8100s were built in 2006. They were done too. I mean, if it wasn't for these new Excelsiors being delayed from New Flyer, they would have our 8000s would have retired right on time. But I was glad that we kept them for a year longer, But they were showing their age and they had to go, unfortunately. They will never be forgotten, I tell you that. I'm kind of sad I haven't get a chance to ride on an AM 460. I think there's some around. I just don't remember where. I think Beeline or something like that. I know they're out in overseas too. I forgot where, but I know there is some around. Just gotta look onto them. Look at the rosters. It was hard. Yeah, it was hard. 8080 will always be my favorite. Except the better save it. Uh, can't promise you they will save it, but as of right now, 8080 is still running. It was on the. I was tracking it earlier. It was on the 15 today. It did the 9009 block. Now I know what people will forget, but I don't. The 56 01, 5612, and 5831, 58 hybrids. The first gens. Yeah, now here's the thing I don't understand compared to our second gens. When the first gens were retiring, right before then, you know how like right now our second gens, the batteries on them are wearing off, are dying out. Well, get this. I just found this from one of my group. To replace the battery on the second gen, on all the second gens, think about it. One battery costs over $23 million to replace. And think about it for all the number of the second gens we have right now. Just think about it. If we did that, SEPTA would be bankrupt. They would lose all their money and we would lose everything. Now, here's what I don't. Now, here's the thing I don't get, which I wish SEPTA would do. The first gens had the same problem, and I'm like, and I heard they converted them to diesel. They just took out the battery or kept the battery in them, and they just ran them into like regular diesel. I'm like, so if you go to convert the second gens to diesel, why can't do that to the second? No, what am I saying? Why, if you convert it to the first gens into diesel, why not do that to the second gen? It makes sense, right? I mean, you did that to the first gens right before they retired and before COVID, and you know, but second gens, I mean, I do feel like they should be converted into diesel because ever since then, every time I look around, I see a second gen smoking out black smoke, having the oil pressure light comes on the dash. You know, I mean, they're not even sounding like a hybrid anymore. You would think they sound like a diesel, but that's what I wish that would happen, and especially with how they're breaking down, making the bad fume smell. I mean, it's a strong smell, and you don't want to breathe it in. But that's the thing I did not get. The second gens nearly sound like the DE40 LFRs. They do. This is now here's my thing. The second gens and the restyles do kind of sound the same. And their battery on the restyles are starting to wear off. Next couple of years, they'll probably all be sounding like a diesel. 8408 is one of them. 8408, I wrote that 2 days ago on the 88. It sounded like a diesel, like the whole back of the bus vibrates. And I'm like, wow. It's just amazing. It's just so sad to see 8408 just not sounding like a hybrid no more. Except for the crappy 2009 New Flyer. They were all hybrid. Always had very bad luck with the 2009s. Actually, it's not really the 2009s. It's more of the 2008s. Now, the 2008s, they struggle up hills. They stall out after they go a hill. And they show a check engine light. Basically, in 2008s, they struggle going up the hills. Even you would hear the RPMs going, ee! But yes, and some of them are slow. I've ridden some slow ones, and I did not like them, such as 8289 in my video. You'll see that bus was slow. what happened to 8345? 8345 is scrapped due to an engine failure that it had recently, and they tried to get it fixed, but it just had like ongoing issues with the motor, and so they had to scrap that bus for just because of that. F in the chat for 8345. I wouldn't do that if I were you, Caleb, because I mean, 8345 did have major issues right when it was 8345 did have major issues with the engine. I mean, I actually heard from one of my fellow bus driver friends. They said that 8345 sounded bad, really bad, and it always had a check engine light on it. They try to, hey, I mean, they try to fix it, but I didn't know exactly what the reason why they had to retire that bus. It's not even showing its age, to be honest. I mean, it was showing its age, but it's not even time for it. Now, I do want to point out this. That's going to be the only restyle that's in the scrapyard. Anything, anything from 8340 and up is just going to stay in service, but except for 8345. 8345 sounded horrible. Yeah, it doesn't even sound like a second gen in it or diesel. It sounded like, what do you call it? The Boeing airplane engines. That's what it sounded almost, and it sounded horrible. Do you prefer the D40LF over the new 2023 XDE40s? Are they the new ones your favorites? Uh, I have no, like I said earlier, I have no favorites for the new XDE40s yet. I'm just getting started with them, but I do like all of them by far right now. But I would still take D40LFs over anything. I mean, at this point, I look at the new XD40s as the new D40LF, in my opinion. I mean, just think about it. Compare them with the 3000s. 3000s, they had the Allison. They had the Allison transmissions in them in the L9s. Their takeoff, because SEPTA slowed them down, they take off slower than the new Excelsiors. In my opinion, I mean, it's a big difference between the two. It really is a big difference. I was speaking to one of my local bus drivers, and they said they actually might have preserved a neoplane articulated. I hope it's true, but I doubt it. Uh, I I don't know if it is true or not. I mean, I would find out from my SEPTA group if it's true or not. But that would be good if they did. That would be good to see a preserved neoplane again. I mean, none of us haven't seen neoplane since 2015. It's been that long since we last seen a neoplane. Give me 1 second. Okay. Any news about the E40 LFR's axle problems? As of right now, 803's axles are fixed. 803 sounds like a brand new coach now. And I haven't ridden 803 ever since the axle problem, but it sounds a lot better than what it did before. Now, 800. 800 is another one that has axles in it. It's in the process of being fixed soon. 802 sounds worse. 802's axles sound worse to the point where you're just hearing the axles constantly, and it's getting loud to the point you don't even hear the Dakota motors on them tracklesses. But yeah, I mean the axles, in my opinion, I mean I heard it all before. I heard it from the diesels. There's diesels that did it. There's Novus that did it. If the axles were really bad, it's just going to make the sound. They would not. Now anything would act if the axle was broken or anything, they would not have that bus out in the street at all. It would just be an early scrap, or they would have to replace it with another bus or a retired bus, or order a new axle, which is going to cost some money. But yeah, 808. Another axle one is 832. If I'm not mistaken, 832 is another one. Right now, 832 is in the shop. So I'm guessing it's currently in the process of getting its axles fixed, or I don't know what it was in the shop for. But yeah. 808 just re entered service after being gone for a year from a crash. Yeah, it was a truck crash, from what I heard. And it was badly damaged. Like the whole front of it was just damaged. But ever since that crash, 808 just looks like a brand new coach right now. Just looks shiny as ever. And I'm hearing that it's not slowed down, which is a good thing. So that's probably one of the other faster coaches besides 823. 813 was terrible when I went on it back in September. The AC was not working unless the bus driver drove. I mean, you get that on a lot of coaches and even on buses. The AC will work, sometimes it won't. But on most tracklesses, they have really good AC, like really good AC. Like I would take that bus in the summertime to cool off. I mean, their AC blows ice cold. They are sadly aging, though. Yeah, I mean, right now, besides the diesels, they're the oldest vehicles we have in the fleet. But yeah, they're built in 2007, and I'm hearing that after these tracklesses retire, everything is just going to be bus for the 66, the 59, and the 75. Everything will be bus. No more trackless after that. It's not only because of the tracklesses themselves, it's the problems that they are dealing with, especially with there's a switch in past Codman and Frankfurt. When the expresses hit that switch, all you hear is All you hear is that sound. And then they would either dewire, the poles would spark, or the poles would just split into like another wire, into another overhead, which is frustrating for a lot of trackless operators because they would have to constantly pull the coach over, pull the post back up, or EPU it. But and that switch has been giving problems for like a year now. I mean, the trackless crew that SEPTA has right now are even too lazy to fix it. They can't even replace the thing or fix it properly. It's even they fix it right again in another. You never know when another express passes it. It'll work fine for the first one, but the next express it'll just dewire. I would like to take the 2005s during the winter because them seats keep you warm. They're the only bus that still have the soft seats, and they have good heating. Yeah, there's a couple buses that have good heating. The Excelsiors have good heating, I know that. But the soft seats, a lot of buses don't even have the soft seats no more. They're the hard seats because with the Novas, some of the non-overhaul Novas have the soft seats still. But in Comley here, everything is almost overhauled. Almost a whole fleet is overhauled right now. And I mean, I like the hard seats, but it's just that when the bus hits the brakes, you'd be sliding out of the seat a little bit, especially on the Novas, on the overhaul Novas. If you sit all the way in the back and the bus has been running all day, you're going to feel the heat from that engine, and it gets hot. Now, I've ridden in 73, 71 recently, and my God, the seat was hot. Like, it was hot to the point where you're sitting on top of an oven. It's like sitting on top of an oven. I mean, I couldn't even stand it. On most overhauls, I sat in the back. It's not as hot. I mean, it'll feel warm. But 73, 71, man, it's just like an oven. And you can even feel the heat blowing from the engine. I'm like, has 73, 71 overheating or something? That's what came into my mind. But yeah. And it made me figure that 73, 71 did overheat because the day after it ran, it was in the shop. With some maintenance and some funding, they could keep the trackless trolleys running. They're historic, unique, and they should get new XT40s. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, that is what we're going to get when these retire. But they might decline the order because they don't want any more tracklesses. The reason why they don't want any more trackless, they just don't want to deal with the problems that they've been having with the overheads and all. Got to be on the 15th, though. That's where 8080, 8008, and some others that are on that line. There was 3 of them on it yesterday. I forgot what the numbers were. 8088 was one of them. 8088, 8075, and 8076, if I remember. Now, everyone thought, this is the funny thing, everybody thought 8091 and 8075 were retired. They're not. As of right now, they're still running. I mean, even 8075 was running, but it just wasn't tracking until yesterday Yesterday it popped up on the tracker again. So far, the only note that I know that is not overhauled is 7476. Yeah, there's a couple of them not overhauled, even for Comley, excuse me. But the only bus that Comley has running that's not overhauled is 7445. That's the only bus that's not overhauled running. 7440, 40, 7440, 46, 48 are all getting overhauled currently. Especially, I mean, they needed an overhaul, especially for 7446. That bus is was kind of problematic. Was kind of problematic when it ran. As of right now, we just recently got 7449 back from its overhaul. 7447 has done its overhaul. We're just waiting for a mechanic to pick it up and bring it to Comley. They said they are still testing or something like that. Yeah, they were still testing. Yeah, they are they are doing some tests. Even with the PCCs. PCCs are coming back, really, or making a comeback now. I can't wait to ride on them after years. It's been years since I rode one. Last time I rode one was back in 03 when they still had the original destination signs. They didn't have the illuminator signs or anything back then. They were just as their original looks. I wonder who's going to get 7450 to fix. It's probably going to Bridge Heavy Maintenance. No, 7450 is not at Bridge. It's at Germantown with 3170. Now, I don't know what's up with them. I haven't heard anything about them ever since. They're probably in the process of getting fixed or just waiting for parts to get them fixed. But as I've heard, I haven't heard nothing ever since. But Comley right now has 2 Allegheny buses. 2 Allegheny buses, as you already know what they are, 7370 and 7371. As far as I know, 7370 is filling in for 7450. That's the reason why 7370 is here. And 7371 is an extra bus because of the shortage with the Arctics that are going on. But I do hear that they're going to stay in Comley for years to come. They're Comley's 2 extra buses now. The damage on 7450 looks severe. It is severe. The whole front of the bus is destroyed. If it wasn't for that driver that wasn't on her iWatch or something like that, if she was paying attention to what's in front of her, it would not happen or end up the way it did. I feel bad for a lot of people involved in that crash, but imagine how the operator who caused it feels. I think she got fired, if I'm not mistaken. Because what caused it was she was looking on her iPhone watch and the bus was going 45 miles an hour on the boulevard. And just made a and just rear-ended. She didn't see she didn't see the other bus in front of her until she looked up the last minute, and it was too late to hit the. It was too late to like slam the brakes and save that accident. But it was tragic in the way it happened. Y'all think SEPTA should have brought the Nova Arctics with 3 doors instead of 2? I think that saves time with 3 doors. And that makes it faster, less time to waste. The way our Novas are, I mean, we're not the only company that has the 2-door Novas. MTA has some of them. Maryland, I think, has Novas with 2 doors. But the 3-door Novas, I have seen them before. Most of them are in Canada with TCC. Did you hear that starting January 1st, 2024, SEPTA will no longer be accepting tokens for their transit systems? They've been doing that for a while. And it's not 2024. They stopped doing that ever since the key cards came out. And the tokens these days are rare. I mean, they are rare. I've seen older ones with a bus logo, a SEPTA logo. There's the ones with different logos. And I think it's kind of cool, because the tokens these days are rare. They are rare to have. I mean, if any of you guys still have the tokens, keep them. They would go great to a collection. SEPTA need to build the Roosevelt Boulevard subway extension. I've been hearing that, but it's the money. It's the money that causes to do it. It costs a lot of money to do it, and some people are saying that it's not going to happen because of the businesses along the boulevard, all the pipes they got to take out and everything. It may not happen. But what I do want to see, though, is what they should do is extend the Boulevard Direct to Oxford Valley Mall instead of just going to Neshaminy. And that would be something I want to see because, it makes the trip longer. And instead of just one trip, it could do 2 trips. It's 100% worth it in the long run. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the cost of the money and what they had to do to in order to put the subway down underground. I mean, underground is. I mean, think about it. There's a lot of pipes. There's a lot of gas lines that I would not mess with because you never know what could happen if they took all that out. Especially around the boulevard on Bustleton with all the homeless people that hang around there. They wouldn't. I mean, it's just like the Market Frankfurt line. They wouldn't. It wouldn't last long. It would be destroyed. And me personally, I don't even ride. I don't ride the Market Frankfurt line no more. Ever since what goes on, the stabbings, the violence, the people that ride them these days, just want to stay away from them. But yeah. Speaking of Boulevard Direct, I feel like that line just comes after like 2 or 3 route 14s just come back from their mall trips. It's actually this is how it is. This has been like this for a while now. Ever ever since the Boulevard Direct will always come before the 14. It would be like 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the 14. The past couple times I've been out bus riding, and I usually sometimes I wait at the Bustleton and Devereux stop. I would see the direct come with the 20 and the 58. And then after the 88 passes, it's the 14. And then the whole lineup just repeats after that. But everything's going to change with the bus revolution, though. I know for some of them, the 14's not going to go. It's not going to go to Byberry Industrial Park no more. They're taking away that trip. And I forgot what else they're going to take away from the 14. Say goodbye to the letter routes, though. Yeah. More number routes are coming. Especially for the one route that Midville tried to make, but they never did for some reason. The 72. 72, I heard the 72 is good. And also the 55 is just going to go to Doylestown. It's not going to go to Willow Grove no more. As a 71 will come back, but they got rid of it like some years ago. Yeah, the 71, I think it's going to be the K, if I'm not mistaken. But there is a route that's going to go to Willow Grove from where the 19 terminates, I think. And then it's going to take the 88's routing and the 24's routing all the way to Willow Grove. Which is good for me because if this new route stops here, I don't even have to take the 55. I mean, and it saves me from traveling to get the 55 because ever since, if I want to go to Willow Grove, I would always have to take the 26 to Alany Transportation Center and get the 22 or the 55 to get there. But that's one route I like. And also, Bus Revolution's thinking about the 127 going to Neshaminy. And it will go to Trenton. Which I think it should come back. That used to be, that's how it used to be. Back then, it was used to terminate from Neshaminy and go straight to Trenton. But it's not going to go the way it used to go. It's going to take the routing of the 14 going to Oxford Valley after it leaves Neshaminy, which is going to be interesting. But 127, I don't think it's going to go to Oxford Valley. It might still go to Oxford Valley, but it's just not going to terminate there. And they're also going to be discontinuing the 128. 128 is going to get discontinued. Out of all the Bucks County lines, all the routes in Bucks County, and this is a thing I never knew about, but my friend told me, my bus driver friend, he told me that the 129 makes the most money out of everything in Bucks County. Which I was shocked. I was surprised. I'm like, wow. So 127 130, 133, and 128 don't make that much money. The 129 does. I'm like, wow. Big wow. That's another route that they're discontinuing, the 150, because of the ridership that the 150 has. It doesn't have much ridership like the other routes do. I'm glad that SEPTA's okay. They should keep the G. The G. I mean, I never rode the G, but I have seen it. The G, I mean, the routing is still going to be the same. It's just going to be a number. But yeah, I mean, the G, the only thing I like about the G is it was the one route in Southern that just had a bunch of 8,000s every day. Ever since then, nowadays, it's all those new Excelsiors that are down there. And speaking of the Excelsiors down in Southern, some of them are breaking down, which I don't understand why. I'm like, why are they breaking down a lot? Well, like, they're brand new buses, and already they're breaking down. I'm glad that Frontier's new Excelsiors are not breaking down yet. Probably because they just got them. I'll always miss the old SEPTA before the Excelsiors, like before 2014. But I'm glad it's modernizing. Yeah, that's what SEPTA's doing nowadays. They're getting rid of the old, replacing with the new. That's what they're doing. And I'm pretty sure it's not just SEPTA. It could be any transit company that's doing the same thing, like MTA, MBTA Boston, Metro Transit Minnesota. Are all going to do the same thing. Remember that time SEPTA had an Orion somewhere in the 2000s? I don't remember that. I don't remember if SEPTA had Orions in the 2000s. I don't ever think they did. I know MTA had a lot of Orions in the 2000s in their time. The Orion 5 OGs. They were good. Yeah, there's a video of it on the 37. It came from MTA. I might have to look and see. I don't think I remember seeing an Orion. I do know in 1999 or in the 2000s, SEPTA had MCIs they tested out. There's a video of one on the 124. They had an MCI on it. SEPTA would be good with MCIs, and I think they would be good for the rush hours. But I don't think SEPTA is the kind of company that would have express buses like MTA and all of them. But yeah. They are. SEPTA's big on New Flyer. There's other companies out there that are big on New Flyer other than just SEPTA. Like MBTA Boston has more Excelsiors than we do. They have all kinds of accelerators, the diesels, the hybrid electric. We're not the only we're not the only Scepter's not the only company that has New Flyer. Everybody has New Flyer, basically. SEPTA was looking into new bus options at the time, so they had MTA loan an Orion and ran out of Southern for a few weeks. I might have to look on the year. I think I knew they were. I know they were looking for new buses at that time. I probably wasn't even born then, but I do know when they at that time they were testing out the D40LF. They had their first D40LF in I believe 1999 or something like that. And that was right from there. That was how we started getting them. Now, I do know in the 2000s or in 1999, we had the Volvos. We have Volvo Arctics. I don't know if any of you guys remember that. The Volvo Arctics. They were the first Arctic that SEPTA had in their history. Now, I wasn't born yet to ride on them, but I heard they were good buses. Any thoughts in making a New Jersey Transit video? That is something I do plan in the future of doing New Jersey Transit, but the only thing is I know the train fare is like $4 something, but I don't know their fares for the buses unless some of you guys know. I got a picture of 3041 on the 15 before. Well, that's good. I would like to see a 3041 on the 15. I seen 3402 on the 15 on a Halloween. And I was shocked to see and I was shocked to see it. I'm like, wow, an Excelsior on a 15. That is unusual right there. I heard MTA is getting their R211s ready. Yeah, they just got them. They just got their R211s not that long ago. So I would like to see some of them in service. Also, if you check out my friend's channel, my childhood friend Brandon Transit Productions or something like that, he rode the Redbirds in New York that like a few days ago, and I'm surprised that New York has kept their Redbirds since the '60s, and they still run. Now I would like to ride the Redbirds if they still run them one day. It's just a far travel to get to them. And Redbirds are rare. They are rare. Any thoughts on the R46s from MTA? Uh, the R46s, I think they still run if I'm not mistaken. They're everywhere in New York. But I heard from a transit fan in New York that they're going to be retiring in a couple of years from now. I don't know when exactly. I don't know when, but still a long time from now. Now, speaking of rail, Silverliner 4s are going to be retired, and we just don't know when. Also, the Comets are going to be retired too. The Comets are getting old. And the thing I don't get is with SEPTA now, they don't even run the push pulls that much anymore. They ever since the pandemic, you would see ever since before the pandemic, there would be pushables on everywhere. And then when it hit, they ran the pushables on certain lines. Now you only run the pushables on rush hour, only on certain lines. Like they're not even running the pushables much. And then comes to the rail rodeo, you wonder why they're late. And why? Because you let the pushables sit and they have problems with the brakes. The brakes will get stuck. The ACS would have problems. It's a shame. It really is a shame. Everything for express is 4s and 5s. Hopefully SEPTA preserves at least one D40LF. 5613 is still around, but doesn't even come to the rodeos or anything. There are recent pictures of it though. 5613 is only used for the safety events as of right now. That's all it's used for. It might show up to a rodeo, but I hardly doubt it. Because the only place where 5613 sits is just at Southern and one of the bays. And sometimes they let us sit with the Proteras. Those pieces of junk. Now, me personally, I hate the Pateras. They were good. They had a good start, but what did SEPTA do to them? The frames broke. One caught fire. They're junk now. And I don't even know. And the Proteras, they were supposed to replace the first gens, but we can't do nothing with them. They're brought from the government. And I hardly doubt they will come back. They just sit as Southern, all lined up. And 5613 would sometimes be in the bay with them. I feel like the 4s is slowly becoming less seen now. The 5s are like slowly appearing more. I mean, it depends on what line. Depends on what line you see them, because they're everywhere. The 4s and the 5s. Sometimes you would see both of them on one line. Does anyone remember riding 8046 before? Remember back when 8046 and 8047 were the only 8000s retired? I can't believe they're almost gone. Time flies. I never rode 8046 and 8047. And the reason why they were retired because they were the only two diesels that had a fire. They had a major engine fire. They had, and they were ever since then they just sat in the scrapyard. But yeah, I mean, time does fly. They they were there when Nabbies retired, when the Neoplanes were there. But after they caught fire, somehow I never saw them again. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything with them at the time. All I did know, they just caught fire, and then right away they were done. Until I seen them in the scrapyard, I'm like, so after that fire, they were just scrapped right away. And I could imagine how bad the fire was because for them sitting in the scrapyard all these years, never came back into service, did have me wonder. '46 had a terrible fire on the 37 apparently. There was some miscommunication from the fire department, so the entire bus burned and it had a brake fire, if I'm not mistaken, in 2009. That's the one thing with D40LFs. If you hit the brakes hard, they will lock up. They will lock up and burn and get hot, and they burn up. That's why they catch fire the way they do. Because the D40LFs are retarder. They have a retarder in them. You have to let go of the gas till you see the retarder light comes on. And what that does, that helps the bus slow down. And when that light is on, you just brake gradually. You don't rush it, you don't force it, you just brake gradually with it. And that's how you properly stop a diesel. 8012, that's not the case of how it caught fire. 8012 had a engine fire. The engine got too hot where and it was burning on something to the point where it sparked the fire. Because I seen the pictures of 8012. The whole back of it from the exhaust to the vent on the side, the passenger side, and engine compartment was all burnt to a crisp. So that's why. So that was what happened. That 8012 had an engine fire. 8110 was a brake fire because it broke. Because I saw the pictures of that. The flames were burning from the wheel well, and somebody was driving. It happened on the turnpike. The driver was driving really fast, lost control of the brakes, and hit the brakes hard, and that was what happened there. Another bus that caught fire, actually two buses, 5705 caught fire one time on the 16. And it was to the point where you would think the whole bus blew up like there was a bomb on it or something. The whole bus was burnt down to a frame. And that was sad to see. A 2003 D40 left get retired. And 5947 had a brake fire as well. So there was a couple D40LFs that had a fire. I don't think there ever was a 01 or 04. No, an 01 or 02 that had a fire. Yeah, 5705. That was the worst one that caught fire out of all of them. I don't remember what caused the fire, but it was that bad to the point where the whole bus burnt down to the frame. And when I seen the picture of the frame, I was like, "Damn, that's a shame." But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So that's it for the stream, guys. I didn't want to make this stream to go too long. Like I said, it's just a Q&A and a chat just to talk about what's going on, talk about some stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll, I'll see you guys in my next video. CSX 8817 Productions out.